Tristan here, and today I'm going to be going over 10 things that Americans, or at least this American, hates about Australia.
So I came across this video. I decided it'd be really fun to react. I decided to react without watching it first, so it would be a genuine reaction.
Number one is the sun. So yes, even though the same sun they see in Australia is the same sun you see in America, the sun here is different. There is actually a hole in the ozone layer of the atmosphere above Australia, so the sun here is much more strong and it burns you way more quickly than it will anywhere in the States. I don't burn easily. If I go into the sun here for 30 minutes to an hour, like, I'm gonna be pink. It's something I can't really explain, but the sun here just feels so much different. Like, you get it, but it's accompanied with the sting. So the extra strong, stinging sun is the first thing that I do not like about Australia.
I will agree with him and say that, yes, our sun can sting. Boy, can our sun sting. The only thing I'm not convinced about, and I will have to go and do some research after I've made this video, is whether the ozone layer hole was bigger over Australia than it is over America. And I feel like we were told that the ozone layer had been fixed years ago, so I'm going to have to go do some research now.
The next thing is more of just a minor inconvenience, but that is you cannot pay for gas at the pump. You actually have to walk inside the gas station to pay for gas. This is annoying for two reasons. Is one, I don't want to go all the way into the gas station to pay, like, it just takes extra time. And two, there's often a line of other people who are paying for the gas or just buying stuff from the gas station, so you have to wait in line to pay for your gas. I don't understand why you just can't pay at the pump like you do in America.
I wasn't aware that in America, all petrol stations, or as they call them, gas stations, where you could pay at the pump. Definitely seen that in the movies, and I think it would be absolutely amazing if we had that in Australia. I'm not actually sure why we don't. My only guess is that the owners of petrol stations in Australia are hoping that we will buy something when we are in there paying for our petrol.
My next one, oh, this really frustrates me sometimes, and that is you cannot turn on red here. So in America, you can turn right on at a stoplight. Well, they drive on the left side of the road here, so it'd be like turning left here. Well, you're not allowed to do that. Nothing is more frustrating than being stuck at a red light, knowing that you are perfectly safe to turn left. There are no cars, but you're not able to.
Yes, if all the lights are red, you absolutely cannot do a left turn. And truthfully, I don't think in America, if they don't have the same setup, that it makes sense to have people deciding when it is and isn't safe to turn left when the red stoplights are on. I think Australian stoplights are set up a lot more safer than what the American stoplights sound.
Number 4 is something that it would really piss a lot of Americans off, and that is that there are no free refills. The restaurant I worked at, a soft drink would cost $4.50, which is equal to about $3 US. On top, there are kids who would get like 2 or 3 soft drinks over their meal, and just right there, that would cost the same amount as their meal. So all you Americans out there who like your refills, be thankful that you're in America, because there's pretty much nowhere else in the world that does free refills like we do.
If I was American and I was used to getting soda refilled in every single restaurant in the country, and then came to Australia and realised that our restaurants do not give refills, yeah, I think that is something that I would hate, for sure.
Of all the things I dislike about Australia, this one, like, I really hate. Like, this is a true hate about Australia, and that is that they have speed cameras everywhere. Like, you cannot speed here in Australia. Now, you can argue, that, like, speed cameras keep people safe, like, you shouldn't be speeding anyways, but I guarantee you, if you drive, there's not a single person out there who has never sped in their life. And the speeding cameras here aren't like police in the US, where, like, they're not gonna get you for going 4 miles over the speed limit. Like, once you're getting close to 10, that's when you get a ticket. Here, if you're going 3 kilometers over the speed limit, which is equal to about 2 miles per hour, you're gonna get a ticket. And I just don't think that's reasonable. To me, it seems like a little bit of an overstep from the government to just be like mailing tickets because they like got you on camera. Like, I don't know, I don't like the feeling of being like surveyed everywhere and having cameras all around me, and that's just like one thing that I don't really agree with here. Especially with the speed limits here already being low, that's like another annoying thing, is the speed limits here are lower than they are in the States. So if you're gonna have slow speed limits and then you're gonna get people in trouble from cameras for going 2 miles per hour over, like, I don't know.
So he's definitely right that we have a lot of speed cameras in Australia. I don't know if we have a lot more compared to other countries, but I have to believe this guy is saying the truth, that in America they don't have speeding cameras and police don't seem to care unless they get to about 10 kilometres over the speed limit. In Australia, yeah, we've got speed cameras everywhere, and Australians definitely get annoyed, and many Australians just believe it's have lots of traffic police out there with radar detectors on top of all our speed cameras everywhere. But I will say that it is publicly put out there where these speed cameras are, because the idea is it's supposed to deter people from speeding. Does it work? I don't know. As I said, I hadn't watched this video before doing a reaction, so I haven't looked into the statistics, the different statistics between America and Australia. There's lots of evidence and reasons why our speed limits are what they are. And personally, I don't disagree with our speed limit. Though I do agree with this guy that every single person I know sometime in their life doesn't make speeding okay. Speeding kills.
So the next thing I don't like about Australia is the Wi-Fi here as a whole is just kind of shitty. Like, it's not complete crap, but it's definitely much worse on average than it is in the US. If you go to a typical free Wi-Fi, like cafe, restaurant, I don't know, any typical free Wi-Fi, it's gonna be lower quality than what you'd find in the US. But even if you are paying for your own internet and you're paying for the fastest Wi-Fi that you can get, you're still gonna have really slow upload speeds. So you have to pay extra on top of like whatever you get to have a fast upload speed. As someone who uploads YouTube videos, it usually takes for like a 10-minute YouTube video around like 20 to 30 minutes for it to upload. That's on like my fast internet back home in the US. Here, if I'm trying to upload about a 10-minute YouTube video, it's gonna take probably between 5.5 to 7 hours to upload. I don't know why their upload speeds are so slow, and I don't—
If I'd watched this video 2 years ago when I was living in my own house, I would have totally disagreed with this guy about us having a slow Wi-Fi. Because in my last house, I did not have a slow Wi-Fi. If I uploaded a YouTube video that was 10 minutes long, it took like 5 minutes. It was nothing. But since I've moved to a new area, it can sometimes take over 2 hours for me to upload a 5-minute YouTube video. It's actually quite shocking. And last year, when I was in Melbourne with my family, we all noticed how slow the Wi-Fi was there. It even took forever for Facebook to download sometimes in Melbourne, and that's a major city of Australia. So yeah, this guy's right. I don't get it. If anyone in Australia has an answer to why our Wi-Fi is so slow, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section below.
Next one isn't too big of a deal, but it does get a little annoying, and that is you pretty much always have to pay extra for like any condiments, sauces you want, and it's usually like quite expensive for some sauce. Like, you're gonna be paying between like 50 cents and $2 for a little bit of sauce. So yeah, for something that is usually free and included in your meal, that definitely frustrates me about Australia.
Now, I 100% agree with this guy, because when I was growing up, we did not have to. I even worked in a fish and chip shop for 4 years when I was younger, and we certainly didn't charge anyone for condiments. Not that we use the word condiments in Australia, just say sauce. Somewhere along the line, things changed, and all of a sudden, we started getting charged for like little packets of sauces.
Now, this one is another one that really frustrates me, because this is another thing that I think is just like a kind of like an overstep of the government, and that is that they mandate like it is illegal to ride a bike here without wearing a helmet. Obviously, it's smart to wear a helmet, no one's doubting that, but I think I should be able to choose whether I wear a helmet or not. Like, I'm an adult. I think most adults should be able to make decisions like that. Additionally, this helmet rule doesn't apply for like skateboarding, like scootering, longboarding, like anything like that. It only applies to bikes. Skateboards are so much more deadly and so much more dangerous than a bike, but you don't need a helmet for them. Like, I know more people than I can count on one hand that have gone into a coma or have died from skateboarding, from hitting their head. If you included concussions, I know more people than I could count on 2 hands that have gotten either a concussion, coma, or died from a skateboard. But a bike, I don't know anyone. Like, if you're mountain biking and going on hard trails, you're most likely smart enough to put on a helmet and like you can think for yourself. Or if you're just gonna go for a stroll around your neighborhood, you're probably not gonna put a helmet on, but that's your choice to make. So
I don't know, his reasoning for hating the fact that in Australia we have to wear helmets when we ride bikes actually makes sense to me. So he's saying he knows multiple people who have gotten head injuries from doing things like skateboarding off the road because they weren't wearing a helmet. But he doesn't understand why in Australia we have people that are riding a bike on the road wear a helmet. Wonder if this guy has actually looked into how many head injuries people in America have from being hit by a car or having any sort of accident while riding their bike on the road.
Next one, tobacco and cigarettes here are so highly taxed, like insanely taxed. It's going to be like, depending on where you're at, what you're getting, it's going to be like 2 to 3 times more to get tobacco and cigarettes here than it is back in the US. I don't smoke cigarettes, but if you do, a pack of cigarettes here costs between 20 and 35 US dollars. Like, just to give you an idea for how expensive it is.
Alcohol and cigarette prices are absolutely ridiculous in Australia. The amount of taxes that they've put on cigarettes has gotten so stupid that in the last year or so, a black market for cheap cigarettes has been created. So whereas Australians have always happily bought their cigarettes from the shops, many Australians are now buying cheap cigarettes from anyone they can find that sells cheap cigarettes. Government got stupidly greedy. Turns out they've lost billions of dollars in tax revenue just in the last year or so.
This last one. So I was struggling. I only had like 8 things that I hated or disliked about Australia, and I reached out to some Australian friends and I asked them one question. I said, what's something you hate about Australia? And they both responded to me with the exact same thing, and that is the damn flies here. The flies, the bugs, whatever you want to call them, like, they are so pesky and annoying here. Like, the bugs in general just kind of like, you know, get in your face, they're annoying, but the flies are aggressive. Like, they are, I can't even explain them. Like, they just attack you when you try to hit them off your face. Like, they just come back, they buzz right around here and you cannot get rid of them. Like, ugh.
Flies in some parts of Australia are horrific. Technically, flies aren't everywhere in Australia. If you go to Queensland, no flies. But if you go to Alice Springs, there is flies everywhere. And they are bloody annoying. They will be relentless. You end up like this, fuming at all the flies. Flies in Australia are the worst.
Obviously, I've shared the bad about Australia in this video, but Australia is a great, wonderful place.
Before watching this video, I expected to totally disagree with him. I was actually surprised by many of his reasons and surprised that they were definitely things that annoy Australians too, especially things like our beer, alcohol and petrol prices. The only thing I will add to that is our food prices have also gotten ridiculous too. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.